So we played Spider-Man and Venom.
The subtitle is
Separation Anxiety.
yeah, which is basically the sequel to Maximum Carnage. I never played Maximum Carnage before just because I wasn't a comic book fan. I did not even know it was a comic book game, but well, superhero, whatever you want to call it. But I seen that cover so many times. I don't know about you, but I saw that cover so many times, and
Yeah, it's one of those games that I think everybody has played for some reason, regardless of
mhm.
their liking or hate of comic books. And I think it's also the red cartridge that
It was a limited edition, I think.
the red cartridge.
Yes.
Okay, I
So
think I've
that
only ever seen the red cartridge.
so maybe just because they didn't print that many. I think it was rare, but everybody's seen it at the same time. So yeah, it's a Acclaim game. It's not, Acclaim. They did like not so many good things. I can't even say something good what they did.
Acclaim did Mortal Kombat 1.
Okay.
That was probably their claim to fame. And
I
that was
I know like
all I can say about them.
they did the first Turok. At the time, it was not very good, but at the time for the N64, having an FPS was a little bit ahead of its time. Not that great, but it was something. I think they did I don't know if you remember Turok. There was like a Canadian edition. Do you remember? Okay, so we have to discuss.
A Canadian edition of Turok?
Yeah.
What did they do?
Um, we'll continue speaking, and I'll look on the internet at the same time.
So Separation Anxiety. It's
Well,
what is it? It's a beat 'em up,
Yeah.
but it's not a good beat 'em up.
Yeah, well, it's made by Software Creations.
Yeah, they
the
must
developer.
create. I think they create software,
Well, they did Bionic Commando, which is surprisingly weird.
but they didn't do the one on the NES.
On the Commodore. Or maybe a port or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because it's made by.
Capcom.
Yeah, that's why. Okay, they did Wolverine on the NES.
Yeah, they probably got the license for all the.
Coming, yeah, because
Marvel
they did
stuff.
Spider-Man, Double Dragon 3.
Double Dragon. That was also a Nintendo product.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this company's doing.
Yeah, they did nothing.
Oh, they did Tin Star on the SNES, which is a great game.
Really?
And that deserves to be classic critiqued.
Really?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a bookmark. Can we keep in mind? Okay, so with this game, what we played this game with was co-op. The first one was single player only, and apparently it had better graphics and
Better game.
better game overall. Um, I don't know what happened with this one. It's basically
When did it come out? It came out in 95, which is
there's no excuse.
halfway through the life of the SNES.
Yeah.
Well, no, probably at the end of that point. Maybe a year or two away from the end.
Yeah, like 2 year away from the end. Yeah, there's no excuse for that game. I mean, we didn't even finish the first level, and we were tired already playing that game.
I couldn't imagine somebody having bought this on PC. And thinking back at it, I do remember seeing those big PC boxes of this game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's not something you want to remember.
Yeah, it's basically the first thing we discover is that the moves are pretty weird. It's the way they punch. It's just not right, and just because you're Spider-Man, they're kind of like playing with the gimmick that you can use your spider web to travel.
Even though it's pretty useless and they force you to use it.
Yeah, only like on the second level, I think like you can fall because you're like fighting on the top of the building, so which is pretty useless. That's where you lost your life and stopped playing, which was good for you. And at the third level, it was pretty weird because you can go up or and sometimes down, but it bring nothing to the level. Like I went up, and after like two screen, I need to go down, and it changed nothing to the game. Basically, like
You
uh,
wasted your time and your energy.
yeah, I wasted my mental. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's
It reminds me of Rambo 1 on the NES where
when you go up and down.
yeah, where you don't know where you're going and you have to assume and you're just spending a lot of time searching. But this is a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
There should be no searching in a beat 'em up.
Yeah,
It's left to right and sometimes elevators.
but I don't even think they was searching. I just did this, and it's pretty weird. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Rambo, but Rambo, I never finished that game, but with a speed run is 10 minutes, basically. Because Rambo, you go like, because if you go left or right, you always gonna the screen gonna repeat every time, so you don't know what you're doing. But basically, there's like a pattern. You have to go like 3 times left and 1 time right, and it's gonna, and the fourth time it's gonna be like the next screen, you know. So it's look, it's a puzzle, and there's no way you could find your walkthrough. But going back to that game, I don't know. The only thing was the coolest I think was the sprites, the artwork in this game. Well, I mean, I know it, you were not a super fan, but I think that was the coolest thing that this game had. And because I know it based on a comic book of Venom, so I think they just like ask Marvel, can we take a few sprite and put into our game, and they were like, okay, make it good, make it a good game. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what do you have to what do you have to
It's
say
I
about
don't
this
know.
game?
It could have been good. I think they could probably remake it now with better graphics, 3D, maybe some cell shading. Cell shading would probably work really well on this because there was a Spider-Man cell shaded game on PS2
Mm-hmm.
that looked really awesome, and I think
And 3D also.
yeah, and 3D. So this could maybe have legs and run, but I think now at this point there's been so many Spider-Man 3D games that it's just irrelevant to make another one.
Yeah.
There've been all three movies. There was the Spider-Man Friend or Foe. There's the Web of Shadows.
And they
So I think this is where Spider-Man's headed, towards 3D games, but
mm-hmm.
always being very bland and boring.
Well, I mean, that was the time that it was worse on the Super Nintendo and NES. Well, it was always the same company who did those superheroes.
Yeah, Legend.
That's why they kind of like, it should have been a better game. Like you see the cover, superheroes. It's gonna be super great. Gonna have great power up, and not really.
Yeah, epic fail.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess this week is over.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we will have a classic critique again. We don't know what game it will be, but we're looking for suggestions.
Oh yeah.
If you have any suggestions for a classic critique dated 1997 prior, we will play those.
Yeah. I think we need to do Mario RPG soon. I think it could be the time.
Actually, were we going to start our Beyond Good and Evil play through? Oh, that's a teaser.
Yeah, it is
Sleep
a
well.
teaser.